The old weather station shows one warm window above the wet hill. This is the quietest part of the night. When the day has stopped asking anything of you, I am the night keeper. Tonight, the key fits a door at the old weather station, where the rain stays outside, and the room has been warming for a long while. The soft brass key rests on a worn leather cord in my hand. It has gathered a little heat from the pocket that carried it up the hill, and its round head is smooth from many calm thresholds. It makes one small sound against the ring, then grows still. The path is broad, dark with rain, and easy underfoot. Flat stones hold the way. Moss grows between them in low green seams. On either side, the grass is silvered by mist. Below the hill, the valley has put out most of its lamps, leaving only a few blurred points where windows are still awake. Above, the station waits with its low roof and square panes. No tower waits here, no exposed height. Only a small working room with a porch, a stove, a desk, and instruments that have learned to move slowly. Rain touches the hood of the porch. Fog touches of the porch, touches the glass. The warm window holds steady, and every step brings the room closer, while the weather continues its soft work outside. The covered porch is dry under its dark eaves. The roof catches the rain and softens it at the edges. Not loud, not sudden, only a steady tapping along the gutter and the boards beyond the rail. The porch boards are old pine, worn pale at the center where many careful feet have crossed. Their grain has risen a little with years of weather, but beneath the roof, they are warm enough to feel kind. A narrow bench stands beside the door. On it lies a folded wool cloth, not a blanket yet, only something placed there for damp hands or the corner of a sleeve. A ceramic boot tray waits below. A small brush leans inside the tray with its bristles clean and dry. Everything has been put where a tired hand might hope to find it. The door is painted a deep green that looks almost black in the rainlight. Its brass handle is oval and plain. Beside it, a lantern hangs in cloudy glass, turned low enough to show the wood around it and the little drops of rain caught on the outer side of the frame. The key goes into the lock without a search. There is one quiet click, no scrape, no echo, no surprise. Only the little certainty of a door recognizing the key that belongs to it. The latch lifts. The porch seems to grow warmer even before the door opens. Behind you, rain keeps to the roofline. Before you, amber light lies on the floorboards. The old weather station is ready to receive the night indoors. Inside, the observation room is low-ceilinged and warm. It is not large, and it does not need to be. The whole room gathers around a few steady things. A wooden desk beneath the main window, a tiled stove in the far corner, shelves of small instruments, a chair with a curved back, and a narrow rug that begins at the door and ends near the hearth. The door closes with a soft wooden sound. Rain becomes quieter at once, moved behind glass and wall and roof. It remains present, but farther away now, like a hand resting on the outside of the house. A round barometer hangs on the wall above the desk. Its brass rim has dulled to honey. The needle rests slightly to one side, not asking to be read, just keeping its old habit. Near it is a small hygrometer, a thermometer in a wooden case, and a shelf with 2 glass rainagi. Glass rain gauges, waiting to be emptied on some other morning. The lamp on the desk is shaded in amber cloth. It makes a circle of light across the blotter, the ledger, the pencil, and the smooth place where an elbow has rested many times. There are no measurements for you to take. There are no measurements for you to learn. Sunkud. The instruments can keep their slow work to themselves. For now, there is only the room, the lamp, the stove, the rain outside, and the feeling of arriving somewhere that has already lowered its voice. The tiled stove is built into the corner like a patient block of warmth. Its tiles are cream-colored, with faint green lines around the edges. Some are newer than others. One, near the floor, has a small chip shaped like a crescent. Another has a hairline crack that has darkened softly over time. None of it feels broken. Only used, kept, and trusted. The stove gives no sharp flame and asks for no tending now. Its warmth is already stored inside the tiles, spreading outward through the room in the slowest way. A chair stands nearby, not too close, with a wool blanket over its back. The blanket is grey, with a thin rust-colored stripe, and its edge has been folded once, neatly, as though someone made the room ready and then stepped out of the story. On the little table, beside the chair, is a ceramic cup, wide at the bottom, narrow at the rim. It holds warm water, with a pale slice of apple floating near the surface. Steam rises for a moment, then disappears into the lamplight. The floorboards near the stove are warmer than the boards near the door. That difference is small and pleasant. Door coolness, stove warmth, rain. Rain outside, wool inside. The room begins to arrange itself in simple pairs, and the mind can follow without effort. Cold stays beyond the threshold. Warmth takes the chair, the rug, the cup, and the quiet place where your hands may rest. The desk beneath the window is broad, old, and gently scarred. Its surface is dark from years of palms, paper, lamp oil, and weather carried in on sleeves. At the left edge, a shallow groove has been worn by the metal foot of the lamp. At the right, the wood is slightly lighter, where a ledger often lies open. The middle is empty enough for the eyes to rest. Outside the window, fog leans against the panes. The glass is divided into small squares, each one holding a slightly different version of the night. In one, rain slides downward in slow beads. In another, a valley lamp blurs and steadies. In another, only mist appears, pale and close, as if the hill has drawn a blanket around the station. The ledger is open to a clean page. The lines are faint. The pencil waits across the margin. No one has written a forecast. No column needs filling. The page may simply remain a page. Still, it gives the room a soft rhythm. Paper, pencil, lamp, window. Paper, pencil, lamp, window. A brass ruler rests near the top, too old to shine. A small dish holds 3 paper clips and 1 button. A folded cloth lies nearby for wiping rain from the glass gauge in the morning. All of these objects belong here. None of them asks to be solved. They simply make the room more itself, a warm station. Above a sleeping valley, with weather outside and a quiet desk inside. Rain moves down the window squares at different speeds. Some drops gather along the top of the pane and wait there, round and dark. Some slide down at once, making a clear path through the fog on the glass. Some meet other drops and become larger, then slow again. as though even water can grow drowsy against a warm room. The window does not rattle. The weather outside has no head tonight, only a softened outline. It passes over the roof, touches the sill, darkens the porch rail, and leaves the station undisturbed. The room receives only the softened version. A low roof sound, a faint line of water near the frame, the silver movement of rain beyond the lamp reflection. If you look carefully, you can see the white thermometer screen outside, set a little away from the building. It stands on short legs, louvered and pale, almost like a tiny cupboard waiting in the mist. It is only a shape in the mist, not a lesson. The station keeps many such quiet shapes. A rain gauge glimmers beyond it. The valley lights blur lower down. The lamp inside makes a second window on top of the first, an amber rectangle floating over the blue-gray night. In that reflection, the desk appears softer than it is. The chair becomes a darker curve. The stove corner becomes a small glow behind you. Inside and outside overlap for a while. Rain and lamp, fog and wood, glass and warmth. After a while, the eyes can stop choosing between them. It is enough that the weather moves outside and the room remains still. The shelves along the left wall hold small instruments in careful rows. A wooden box with a hinged lid is closed for the night. A brass compass rests with its cover folded back, though its needle has no journey to guide now. 2 glass tubes lie in padded grooves beside a little wind vane model, carved from dark metal, and a round clock moves its hands with such patience that time seems to soften around it. Each object has a place on the shelf. Each place has gathered a faint outline in dustless wood. This is not the busy shelf of a shop or schoolroom. It is the shelf of a room that has watched many evenings pass without needing to keep them. The instruments have their own silence. They have measured rain, pressure, air, and wind in other hours. Tonight, they measure only quiet. A folded cloth rests at one end of the shelf. A small bottle of oil stands beside it, corked and unused. A tin of pencil leads sits near the back. The labels on the boxes are too faded to read, and that is better. Words would ask the mind to stand up. So let it sit down again. Your hand passes near the brass compass, but does not lift it. The leather cord of the key brushes softly against my sleeve as I set it back into my pocket. The little brass shape settles there, close and warm, having done its first work for the night. The shelves remain as they are. Box, compass, glass, clock, cloth. A row of quiet things, keeping company with the rain. The ledger page begins to feel less like a record and more like a place to rest. No figures need to be entered. No exact hour needs to be named tonight. The old weather station has known ordinary rain for many years, and it can hold something gentler tonight. The pencil touches the paper lightly, making only the smallest sound. The first line says, "Lamplight along the desk." The next line says, "Wool warmth on the chair." Then, rain softened by roof and glass. The letters do not need to be large. The letters do not need to be large. They do not need to be read by anyone else. They are only marks that let the room notice itself. If a station can record wind and water, perhaps it can also record hush, stillness, dry socks, warm tiles, and the blue edge of fog around a window. The pencil rests again. The page remains open. Outside, Rain continues its slow tapping, and the fog changes shape without becoming anything in particular. The barometer gives one tiny settling tick, so small it might be imagined, and then the room returns to its wider quiet. The ledger does not turn into a question. It does not carry a message. It simply becomes a soft place for the night to set down harmless words. Lamp, wool, rain, glass, stove, cup, valley, hush. A page like that can stay unfinished. It may be better unfinished. It leaves room for the next small sound, the next softened bead of water, the next breath of warmth from the tiled stove. A window bench runs below the western panes. It is not long, only deep enough for sitting sideways with a blanket over the knees. The cushion is covered in faded blue fabric, worn almost smooth at the corners. A wool blanket lies folded at one end, heavier than the cloth on the porch, softer than the one on the stove chair. Its color is the gray of rain clouds after they have lost their brightness. When you sit there, the room changes shape. The desk is to one side now. The stove is behind you. The window fills more of the world, while the bench keeps you close enough to the wall that outside never feels too large. The rain is near the glass and far from your hands. The fog makes the valley into a low blur, and every distant light becomes slower, rounder, easier to release. The blanket unfolds without a sound. It covers the knees. Its weight is plain and even. On the sill are 3 smooth stones, a small shell that must have been brought from another valley, and a tiny brass hook where a hand lantern could hang on other nights. Tonight, the hook is empty. The lamp on the desk is enough. The old station breathes with the weather without letting the weather in. Rain outside, warmth inside, fog outside, wool inside. The pattern is very simple now because it is simple. Repeat without tiring. The window bench becomes a pause between the desk and the deeper room, between noticing and resting. The ceramic cup near the stove has cooled to the right warmth. It is not hot enough to ask for caution and not cold enough to lose its comfort. The apple slice has become pale and soft in the water, giving the cup only a mild sweetness. No strong scent rises from it. Only warmth, fruit, and the quiet weight of ceramic held between both hands. The cup is heavier at the bottom than at the rim. Its glaze is ivory, with tiny brown speckles, and one place near the handle shows the mark of the maker's thumb. That small unevenness makes the cup feel more restful than a perfect thing. It belongs to this station, where every object has been used slowly and kept because it still knows how to serve the night. The chair by the stove accepts your weight with a faint sigh of woven rush. The blanket on its back slides a little but does not fall. The lamp gives the cup a warm edge. Outside, the rain changes only enough to be noticed, then returns to its steady softness. The old clock on the shelf moves, one hand forward by the smallest amount. The barometer needle remains where it is. The ledger page lies open. Nothing is being counted now. The cup does not measure ounces. The clock does not press time forward. The instruments do not demand attention. They are simply part of a room where the night has become gentle enough to hold. Warm cup, low chair, wool stripe, stove tile, rain behind glass. The same few comforts, returning in a calmer order. Beyond the observation room, a short inner hall leads under the eaves. The door to it is not hidden. It stands near the shelves, painted the same green as the outer door, only smaller, with a latch polished by use. When it opens, it reveals a hallway lined with pale boards and low lamps. The air there is still warm, though quieter, as if the stove's comfort has traveled ahead and settled along the walls. The hall does not feel like leaving the room. It feels like moving deeper into the same quiet. On one side are pegs holding practical things: a knitted cap, a folded scarf, a small canvas bag with its drawstring loose. On the other side, a narrow shelf holds extra candles, 2 clean cups, a stack of folded cloths, and a jar of cedar shavings with the lid resting beside it. The floor runner is thick and dark red, softened almost brown by lamplight. Each step disappears into it. At the far end, another warm square of light waits. It can wait. The hall is part of the sleep weather too. It has its own observations: a quiet latch, a wool cap, a jar of cedar, the muffled rain overhead, the way lamplight falls in rounded shapes on old boards. Halfway down, the brass key shifts once in my pocket and gives a small muted click against the leather cord. It is a friendly sound now, no longer opening anything, simply traveling with the room. As the night grows more inward, the lamps continue. One, then another, then the warm square at the end. A little wash nook opens from the inner hall. It holds only a basin, a mirror, a shelf, and a towel rail. Yet it has the quiet completeness of a room that knows its purpose. The basin is white enamel with a blue line around the rim. The mirror above it is small and slightly clouded at the edges, reflecting the lamp rather than anything sharp. The shelf holds a folded towel, a wooden comb, and a bar of plain soap in a shallow dish. The water in the pitcher beside the basin is neither icy nor steaming. It is mild, room warm, easy on the hands. If you touch it, it makes the smallest sound against the enamel, and then becomes still again. The towel is thick and dry. The soap has almost no scent. The comb has wide teeth and a smooth handle. These things do not ask for a routine tonight. They only show that the station has prepared every simple need before sleep. A place to rinse the hands, a towel, a quiet mirror that keeps the light soft, a small shelf where nothing is crowded. Outside the nook, rain moves along the roof above the hall. It sounds farther away here, filtered by boards and eaves and the warm space of the station. The mirror catches a piece of that dim ceiling and turns it into a grey-blue blur. You do not need to look closely. The room is not for looking closely anymore. It is for simple objects and small motions, each one a little slower than the one before. The stair under the eaves rises only a little. It is narrow but never cramped. Its rail is rounded by years of hands. Each step is shallow and covered at the center by a strip of woven runner, so the climb feels more like a soft incline than a staircase. The lamps here are smaller, set into niches in the wall, each one shielded by cloudy glass. Rain is closer overhead. You can hear it touching the sloped roof, then running down toward the gutter in thin, wandering lines. The sound has no hard beginning and no hard end. It is only the roof, remembering the weather outside, while the stair keeps its warmth within. On the landing, a tiny square window looks out into fog. It is too small for a view, and that makes it restful. It holds only grey-blue night, one blurred valley lamp, and the reflection of the stair lamp behind you. A folded mat lies on the landing floor. Beside, it is a wooden box with extra matches, though no match is needed tonight. The lamps are already low. The stove is already warm. The station has already done the work a person might otherwise have had to think about. The rail fits the hand. The runner softens the steps. The roof keeps the rain outside. Upstairs, under the eaves, the station becomes smaller and quieter. Below are desks and instruments. Above are blankets, low ceilings, and places where the mind can stop arranging the day. The stair turns once, the light lowers, the rain remains near, and the warmth remains nearer. At the top of the stair, a small room holds blanket shelves. The ceiling slopes on both sides, leaving the center of the room as the only place to stand fully upright. Along the walls, low shelves hold folded wool in calm colors: gray, cream, moss green, faded blue, and one deep brown blanket with a stitched edge. They are not stacked too high. Each folded shape has room around it. A cedar chest stands beneath the little window. Its lid is closed, and a round cushion rests at its top. The window above is fogged at the corners, with a clear oval in the middle, where warm air has touched the glass. Through that oval, the station roof slopes away into rain and darkness. The room smells faintly of cedar, wool, and dust that has become clean through long keeping. It is the smell of things stored for comfort rather than display. You may choose the moss green blanket or the grey one, or neither for a while. The choosing is light, almost without consequence, because every blanket here would be enough. The moss green one unfolds with a soft thickness and shows a paler underside. Its edge is bound with cotton tape, smooth under the fingers. For a moment, the room is only textures. Wool folded, cedar closed, roof rain, small window, low lamp, blanket weight. Nothing else needs to happen. The station has given the night another layer, warm, plain, and ready. A low table in the blanket room holds an old station map. It is not a map for travel now. It shows the hill, the pole, the porch, the observation room, the instrument yard, the little stair, the eaves room, and the valley below as a few faded lines. The ink has softened from black to brown. 4 stones hold the corners flat. A green-shaded lamp bends over the paper and makes the valley look warmer than it could ever be outside. Tiny marks show where instruments once stood. A circle for the rain gauge, a square for the thermometer screen, a line for the fence, a dot for the porch lamp. The map does not need to be followed. You have already arrived. Still, it is pleasant to see the whole place made simple: hill, room, stove, window, eaves, rain. The mind can rest inside a shape. When the shape is kind, beside, the map is a shallow dish of brass tacks. None are sharp upward. They lie on their sides, dull and golden in the lamplight. A spool of grey thread rests near them, perhaps used to mend a curtain or tie a label to a shelf. The ordinary purpose of these things is calming. The key stays in my pocket here. It does not need to open this map or explain this place. It has become one of the small remembered objects, like the cup, the pencil, the stones, and the folded blanket. The rain continues. The map remains still. The station, reduced to lines, feels even more sheltered than before. From the eaves window, the instrument yard looks soft and small. It is only a patch of grass beside the station, edged by a low fence and the pale shapes of weather instruments. The white screen stands near the center. The rain gauge is a faint vertical glimmer. A simple wind vane turns almost not at all on its short post, more touched by mist than moved by air. There is no need to go outside. The yard can remain a picture behind glass. Rain beads on the upper pane make the whole scene gentler, breaking it into small circles of light and shadow. The porch lantern below casts a warm fan across the wet boards. Beyond that, the path disappears into fog after only a few steps, as if the world has politely folded itself away from the station for the night. Inside the eaves room, the blanket lies over your arm. The lamp is low. The map table is behind you. The shelves hold their wool in ordered stacks. Outside, the instruments continue doing whatever small work they do in rain and mist, but none of it needs attention. They seem like sleeping objects, standing in their places, receiving weather without asking the room to wake. A drop slides down the pane, another follows, settles, the wind vane settles, the porch light stays warm. The yard becomes simpler each time you look at it. White shape, brass glimmer, dark grass, low fence, rain. Then even those details soften. The weather is outside. The warmth is inside. The station keeps both in their places. Before the alcove, a shallow cupboard stands half open under the low ceiling. It holds spare lamp glass, folded cloths, a little brush, and a row of small tins with plain lids. The cupboard is shallow, built between two beams, and everything inside is arranged with the same quiet care as the instruments downstairs. Nothing shines brightly. The glass is cloudy amber, pale honey, and one piece of clear green that catches the lamp like moss underwater. A spare lamp sits on the middle shelf, unlit and ready. It is not needed tonight. That, too, is part of its comfort. Some things are peaceful because they are prepared and unused. A folded blanket, a clean towel, a cup beside the bed, a spare lamp that can remain a spare lamp. While the first lamp burns low, the brush beside it has a wooden handle darkened by hands. The cloth is folded into a square. The tins may hold wick or matches or nothing important enough to name. Their labels are turned inward so the eyes do not have to read anything. The cupboard smells faintly of dust, cotton, and warm metal. From outside comes the same roof rain, slightly softer here, beneath the eaves. From below comes no sound at all, only the imagined warmth of the stove and the lamp circle on the open ledger. You do not take anything from the cupboard. You do not take anything from the cupboard. You only notice that the station has thought of small needs before they arrive, and then let those needs go back to sleep. The eaves window has a curtain made from heavy blue cloth. It does not cover the whole pane. It does not cover the whole pane. It has been drawn to one side and held there with a simple cord, leaving a narrow view of rain and fog. The cloth is faded at the fold, where fingers have gathered it many times. Along the lower edge, the tiny stitches make an uneven line that looks kinder than perfect sewing. The window itself is deep in the wall. Its sill is wide enough for a small stone, a thimble-sized cup, and a folded paper star that has lost one point. None of these things needs a story tonight. They are only the kind of objects that collect in a warm room over many quiet years. Rain touches the outside of the glass and slides down in thin threads. Inside, the curtain remains dry. That difference returns again, simple and useful. Wet beyond the pane, dry within reach. Fog beyond the pane, cloth within reach. Night beyond the pane, low lamp within reach. The curtain cord has a little brass bead at the end. It hangs perfectly still. If it moved, it would move only because a hand touched it gently. But no hand is needed now. The window is already open enough to show the weather and covered enough to keep the alcove sheltered. The blue cloth darkens toward the lower fold. The lamp warms its upper edge. The glass holds the rain. The glass holds the rain. The room holds the lamp. The station holds both. By now, the station's inventory has become small and soft. Not the official inventory that might list instruments, gauges, screens, shelves, and ledgers. That belongs to another kind of day. Tonight, the list is softer, and it can be kept without paper. One warm door, one low lamp, one grey blanket, one moss green blanket, one cup by the stove, one cup by the bed, one pencil at rest, one barometer quiet on the wall, one window with rain, one roof holding the weather outside. The list does not need to be complete. Completeness would make it too bright. It can lose count whenever it likes. It can repeat the same object twice, if that is easier. Blanket, lamp, cup, rain. Blanket, lamp, cup, rain. The body understands such lists better than explanations. It understands warmth. It understands weight. It understands the difference between a sound beyond glass and a still room around the bed. The old weather station becomes less like a building now, and more like a collection of gentle assurances. The door has opened. The stove has warmed. The lamp has lowered. The bed has waited. The rain has stayed outside. Nothing more needs adding. If the mind keeps one final inventory, it can be only this: weather outside, warmth inside, and the soft brass key resting where it belongs. The alcove bed waits under the deepest slope of the roof. It is tucked beyond the blanket room, behind a heavy linen curtain, drawn halfway open. The bed is built into the wall like a drawer of warmth, with a wooden frame, a thick mattress, and a shelf at the head for a cup, a book with no need to be read, and a tiny lamp behind amber glass. The ceiling above it slopes low enough to make the space feel held, never closed. The roof rain is soft here, close but muffled, moving over the tiles in long, quiet threads. The wall beside the bed is panelled in pine. The knots in the wood look like closed eyes. A quilt has been turned down. The sheets are cream. The pillow is plain. At the foot of the bed, there is room for the moss green blanket from the shelves. It lies there naturally, as though the alcove had been expecting that color all evening. The lamp on the shelf makes only a small circle. It touches the cup, the edge of the pillow, a corner of the book, and the first fold of the quilt. Beyond that, the alcove is blue, with shadow and roof light. This is the station's innermost quiet. The hill path is far away now. The porch is far away. Even the observation desk feels like a room remembered from earlier in a dream. Here there is only bed, roof rain, warm wood, low lamp, folded blanket, and the small permission to stop continuing. The bedside shelf is no wider than a forearm. It holds a cup of water, a smooth grey stone, the tiny lamp, and a folded square of cloth. That is all. The empty space around the objects is part of their comfort. Each one can be seen without effort. Each one has enough room. The cup is clear glass and half full. In the lamp glow, the water holds a small amber shape that trembles only when the floor settles. The stone is oval, pale grey and cool-looking, though it has been inside the warm station all night. The cloth is white, with a blue edge, folded twice. A book rests farther back on the shelf. Its cover has no bright color. Its pages are closed. It is not waiting to be opened. It is only the idea of reading, softened, until it becomes another quiet object. If sleep comes before a single page, the book will not mind. The alcove curtain hangs in a heavy fold near the foot of the bed. Its linen texture catches the lamp in tiny raised threads. Beyond the curtain, the blanket shelves and the map room continue to exist, but they no longer need looking after. A small sound comes from the pocket of my coat as I pass the alcove curtain, the brass key settling once more against the leather cord. It is almost not a sound at all, more like the room, remembering, softly, that every door has already opened. The shelf remains simple, cup, stone, lamp, cloth. Closed book, enough for the night. The weather belongs outside now. It can have the roof. It can have the grass in the instrument yard. It can have the porch rail, the white screen, the rain gauge, the dark stones of the path, and the valley glass below the hill. It can move through fog and low cloud as slowly as it likes. Inside, the station has its own weather. Lamp weather, wool weather, stove tile weather, cup and shelf weather. The little ledger downstairs might write those names if the pencil lifted again, but the pencil is resting, and the page is fine with unfinished lines. Sleep weather does not require completion. The alcove grows quieter as the mind has fewer objects to hold. The roof rain becomes one soft surface. The lamp becomes one small warmth. The blanket becomes one even weight. The wood around the bed becomes one calm shape. Below, in the observation room, the barometer may tick once. The sound does not travel all the way here, or perhaps it does, and becomes only a thought of a tick. The old instruments have receded into their shelves. The desk has receded into lamplight. The porch has receded into rain. Everything is still present. Nothing is demanding. That is the way a good sleep place works. It does not vanish. It simply becomes less separate, less named. The station is no longer a list of rooms. It is warmth on a hill while weather moves outside, rain outside, urban inside, roof outside, blanket inside, fog outside, breathe inside. The pairs grow slower and softer until they no longer need words. Downstairs, the station settles without footsteps. The observation room remains warm. The desk lamp lowers its little circle over the open ledger. The pencil lies across the page. The barometer holds its honey-colored rim in the dark. The stove tiles give back stored warmth, slowly, evenly. Nothing from anyone, without needing anyone near them. The chair by the stove keeps the shape of rest. The grey blanket stays over its back. The ceramic cup stands on the table, with the apple slice floating pale and still. The window bench waits below the western pane, its cushion dark blue in the lowered light. On the sill, the 3 stones remain where they were. The small shell holds a shine the lamp can barely reach. The empty brass hook is quiet against the wood. Outside those windows, rain keeps drawing lines downward. Fog keeps making the valley gentler. The instrument, yard, holds its white screen and rain gauge, both softened by distance and glass. None of these things need your attention now. The station remembers them for you. A house can keep its own rooms. A lamp can keep its own circle. A stove can keep its own warmth. A desk can keep its own page. And upstairs, under the eaves, the alcove bed can keep you in the simplest part of the night. The station is not closing. It is only lowering itself. Lower lamp, lower sound, lower rain, lower thoughts. Everything remains. But everything moves farther from the surface, like valley lights going soft behind fog. The valley lights below the hill blur until they are almost not lights. Through the small eaves window near the alcove, they look like warm seeds scattered under mist. Some disappear when fog thickens. Some return when the rain thins. None of them pull the eye for long. They are only proof that the world below is resting too. Each window with its own lowered lamp, each roof with its own softened weather. What the old weather station does not stand. Apart from that valley, in a lonely way, it watches over it quietly by being warm. A room can do that. A single window can do that. A lamp can make a hill feel less empty without announcing itself. The station's amber panes are small, but from below they would look steady. A few warm squares above rain-dark grass. Someone drifting near sleep in a valley room might see them and feel, for one moment, that the hill is keeping a gentle light. Then, even that thought may go. The story is not about below anymore. Not about outside. Hardly about upstairs or downstairs. It is becoming the color of the blanket, the sound of roof rain, the small glow of a lamp on a bedside shelf. The valley lights blur. The fog gathers. The window cools at the edge. The pillow holds its plain softness. The book stays closed. The cup stays still. The alcove holds. And the weather continues moving where weather belongs. If the ledger downstairs could turn one page by itself, it might keep only a few words now. Warm door, rain glass, stove tile, wool edge, low roof, bed alcove, key at rest, but the page does not turn. The pencil does not lift. The station does not need a written ending. It has already recorded the night in quieter ways. The warmth held in tile. The rain held outside the window, the blanket chosen from the shelf. The path that led here and no longer needs to be followed. Sometimes sleep arrives when a place stops adding new rooms. The station has stopped now. It has given the porch, the observation desk, the stove corner, the window bench, the inner hall, the wash nook, the stair, the blanket shelves, the map, the yard seen from above, and the alcove bed. That is enough place for one night. More than enough. The rest can repeat without becoming a task. Rain on roof, rain on glass. Warmth in tile, warmth in wool, lamp on shelf, cup beside lamp, stone beside cup. Closed book key, the order may change, and it does not matter. Every order returns to the same gentle center, a warm enclosed room while the weather moves outside. No answer is waiting, no door remains to be opened. No sound needs naming. The old weather station has become simple enough to sleep inside. The door downstairs stays warm in its frame. Even though you are no longer near it, the door remains part of the rest. The deep green paint holds the porch light on one side and the observation room glow on the other. The brass handle has cooled a little, but not all the way. The lock is quiet. The key has done its work. Outside, rain touches the porch steps. Inside, the rug waits at the threshold. That doorway is a calm line between weather and room, and the line will stay there all night without effort. Nothing presses against it. Nothing asks it to change. It the simple hold. The weather where the weather is, and the warmth where the warmth is. The thought of the door can be restful. A closed door can be kind when it is only keeping warmth in. A roof can be kind. A window can be kind. A blanket can be kind. The station has been made of these small kindnesses, each one ordinary enough to trust. The alcove curtain hangs still. The lamp on the shelf has lowered in your eyes, though it has not changed. The roof rain is a single hush now. The valley lights are gone behind fog. The moss-green blanket lies over the foot of the bed, and the quilt rests higher, light and even. The door downstairs stays warm. The room upstairs stays quiet. The hill holds the station. The stand holds the room. The room holds the bed. The bed holds the last few details until even those details can soften. The last small lamp is enough. It does not fill the alcove. It only makes a warm place on the shelf and a softer place on the pillow. Its amber glass is clouded at the edges, so the light has no sharp outline. It rests on the cup, on the folded cloth, on the grey stone, and on the closed book, as if each object were being covered with a thin layer of quiet. Beyond the lamp circle, the wood is blue. Beyond the wood, the roof holds rain. Beyond the roof, fog moves along the hill. Beyond the fog, the valley sleeps in pieces of hidden light. There is no need to follow those layers outward now. They can remain nested around the alcove, larger and softer as they go. Shelf, bed, room, eaves, station, hill, fog, valley. Night, the list can become slower. Shelf, bed, roan, station night. Or slower still. Lamp, blanket, rain warmth. The brass key rests in my pocket now. Round head against the leather cord, no longer clicking. It will stay there while the door keeps its quiet and the station keeps its heat. The lamp does not brighten. The rain does not rise. The room does not change. It stays as it needs to be, small, enclosed, warm, and almost finished as a story. Almost, but not quite. Enough remains open for sleep to enter without being noticed. The story can return without walking back. It can return to the hill path as a feeling, not a place. Flat stones, dark with rain, moss between them, grass silvered by mist, a warm window above. Then the porch, dry under the eaves, the green door, the key turning once, the soft click, amber light on old boards. It can return to the observation room as warmth. Desk lamp, barometer, ledger, pencil, cup, stove window bench, rain glass. It can return to the upstairs rooms as softness, hall runner, wash basin, stair rail, blanket shelf, cedar chest mam stones, eaves window, alcove bed. None of these returns asks the eyes to open. They are not instructions. only gentle reminders of the route the night has already taken. Each one smaller than before, each one more like texture than event. The old weather station remains on the hill, but it has become very quiet now. It does not need to be explored. It does not need to be remembered in order. Its rooms can drift out of sequence and still be warm. The cup may be near the stove or on the bedside shelf. The blanket may be on the bench or at the foot of the bed. The rain may be on the roof or on the window. It is all the same calm place now, weather outside, warmth inside, the simplest story repeating softly until words grow thin. Somewhere outside, the weather softens even more. The rain becomes finer on the roof. The fog rests lower along the hill. The instrument yard fades until the white screen and the gauge are only pale thoughts behind glass. The porch rail shines darkly under a film of water, but no one needs to see it. The path has gone quiet. Inside, nothing has to respond. The station has no bell to ring, no schedule to keep, no message to receive. The old instruments may continue their tiny movements, but their movements are private and slow. A needle may lean. A clock hand may shift. A drop may slide in the rain gauge. All of it belongs to the station's own sleep. The alcove is still. The lamp is low. The roof sound is even. The blanket is neither heavy nor light, only present. The pillow holds the side of the face with ordinary patience. The shelf keeps its few objects. The closed book keeps all its unread pages without asking for attention. If a thought arrives, it can be treated like fog at the pane. It may rest there. It may change shape. It may pass. Without needing a name, the weather outside knows how to move without entering. The warmth inside knows how to stay without effort. Between them, the old weather station holds the night, as if holding a cup in both hands. Warm enough, quiet enough, soft enough, and slowly becoming less a place to describe and more a place to sleep. Now, the station is nearly all quiet. The lantern stays low. The door stays warm. The key returns to my pocket, brass against the worn leather cord, its small work finished for tonight. I will be here tomorrow night. Sleep well. The old weather station keeps its window above the hill. The porch keeps its dry boards. The observation room keeps its desk and lamp, its barometer and ledger, its cup near the stove and its blanket. Alva, the chair. The rain stays outside the panes, drawing slow lines where no one needs to count them. Upstairs, under the eaves, the alcove bed keeps its quiet shape. The moss-green blanket rests at the foot. The lamp on the shelf makes a small amber circle, less like light now and more like warmth, made visible. The cup, the stone, the folded cloth, and the closed book remain in their places. There is no final door to close inside the story. No morning has to arrive. No ending has to explain the night. The hill can hold the station. The station can hold the room. The room can hold the bed. The bed can hold the last trace of rain on the roof, the last blur of fog at the window, the last low gleam of brass, remembered from the door. Everything is simple now. Weather outside, warmth inside, lamp low, roof soft, blanket still, and the old weather station, warm and enclosed above the sleeping valley. Continuing quietly, after the words have gone,